Hey, I'm Supats, lifelong solopreneur. Now living my life with only one passion to help solopreneurs to launch their digital products on fast track so that they can be profitable as fast as within 1 week, and they want to scale, they can join the membership. And as a bonus, I show them how they can sell their digital products all over the world using affiliates. Without further delay, let's get started. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to New Beginning Inspiration for You podcast. And if you're joining us for the first time, our goal is to inspire solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business owners so that they are motivated and they learn. These are the free resources and they educate themselves and they grow in their business. And that's the idea. And every guest we bring on our show adds value to their lives. And today's guest is really amazing because it's not only for my audience but even for our own sake. Because I was looking at his profile and I say, oh my goodness, his profile is amazing and he will tell you how to avoid dumb mistakes. And I know I'm forming a team, and sometimes I'm really getting frustrated. Why my team is repeating the same mistake? My team, they knew this, and few months back they did it properly, and no similar project is there. Why are they making the same mistake again and again? And I know William is going to unsolve that mystery for me, and he is going to streamline our processing. That is what I'm looking forward to. I had interviewed so many guests. This is my third year in podcasting journey, but I haven't interviewed anyone with someone who is offering this service, avoiding dumb mistakes. And of course, he has many other offers, but this is a particular thing that really resonated with me. And I say, oh my goodness, I just cannot wait. I just cannot wait. So, without further delay, William, this is your stage. Just take it away. And we want to know more about you. We want to know how you got started into your business, your struggles, your story, your success. Yeah, so stage is all yours.
Thank you so
Get
much, Sue, and
started.
thank you for inviting me on the show. I'm excited to talk with
Yes.
solopreneurs and the people you're trying to help because at one point I was one. And my book, which I'll talk about in a little while, is all about that experience, the mistakes I made, and then the learnings I had on how not to make mistakes. So going back to the beginning, I'm a retired person now, but in my career, I was with a major consumer healthcare company, and first I was a marketer of many major brands in the United States. Then I joined the R&D organization to help innovation and new product ideas for categories all around the world. We went and did workshops in Europe, in South America, in Asia, with the brand teams. Um, but taking a step back, at one point in my corporate career, I was asked by my sister, who was handling a charity carnival. She wanted all of her, she has 5 brothers and sisters, I'm one of them, to help her do this carnival and raise money for the Make-A-Wish Foundation charity. It was a hot summertime, so we thought it'd be a great idea, my wife and I, to rent a dunk tank. A dunk tank, of course, in hot weather is fun because somebody sits on a ledge, you throw the ball, you hit a target, and they fall into it. So we reserved one of these with a local renter company. I'm in the US. I now live in Delaware. We were in New Jersey at the time, and the carnival was in Pennsylvania. So we reserved it from a rental company in Pennsylvania. 10 days before the event, I got a call from the rental store and they said, I'm sorry, we can't rent you the dunk tank. It's because there's a drought in the Northeast of the United States and we're not allowed to rent them at this time because they require 500 gallons of water to fill. And he said, do you want something else? I said, no, I'll figure something out. So my wife and I got creative and we sat at our kitchen table and we thought to ourselves, how might we deliver that water splashing experience for a hot day without a dunk tank? And what we came up with, we ultimately called and commercialized a game called Pitch Burst. It was, I called it the upside down drought-proof dunk tank. It was made of wood and 2x4s and a basketball rim. We hung a basketball rim over somebody seated in a chair below it from a wooden beam, and we set it up so that it had a target and a pivot. So when you threw the ball and hit the target, it went in, and the pivot came out and popped the water balloon over the person's head. Very visual, very fun, very wet. 2 quarts of water, or a few liters, instead of 500 gallons. So it was fun. We brought it to that carnival, and it was busy from the beginning to the end. It was a hot, humid day, 95 degrees Fahrenheit, probably 24 Celsius, something like that, and very humid. So they were playing all day. Everybody paid $1 to play or to be the one getting wet. So they made hundreds and hundreds of dollars for the charity. This was wonderful. And we went home very tired, very sweaty, and said, boy, that was fun. Hey, maybe we could make some money on this. The next day, the calls began where people were looking, hey, can I rent that game? How might I buy one? So the wheels went spinning. I have an MBA. I have a corporate marketing and innovation experience. So I first looked into, can we protect this? Can we patent it? And over the next
Oh, yeah. That's about my question. Did you patent it?
We did. We filed for the patent. It was later issued, and we launched the game. But I still had my full-time job. We hired a production company to make 100 of these out of wood. So we got a bank loan to finance the production and also to start our marketing. At the time, this was in the 1990s. Far less online. It was much more magazine advertising to the rental industry trade business. That was kind of expensive. So we invested in the production and the marketing. And we went to a few trade shows, and we wound up selling, out of the 100, about 60 of the wooden units that were just like the ones we played at our carnival. And we thought we were on our way. Maybe I can quit my day job. It was wonderful. Until the warm weather came, and these companies rented them out multiple times. And it turns out we got complaint calls. The adhesive decals were peeling off. The wood was breaking. The joints with the screws were falling apart. You just said the word. My book is called Uh-oh, and that was our emotion at the time. Uh-oh, we're in trouble because we had 60 angry customers, and their customers were angry at them because things didn't work out. And we had 40 more units in inventory fully paid for by our loan. So we did the right thing. If I sold you something, I'm going to stand behind it. So we gave refunds, we gave spare parts, we made things work for the summer. But by the middle of the next summer, we were realizing that game is doomed. We could not succeed, and we can't pay back our bank loan because of it. There was a lot of stress and pressure. But what we did was to survey all of the customers who had bought that and said, what if we could make this bulletproof so it was not going to break? Would you be interested in buying another one, even if it were more? So almost to a person, they said yes, but they said, show me. So we borrowed some more money. We hired an engineer, and they designed to make the same game out of steel. So once it was made out of steel, generally we had a couple of more glitches, but it was well done, and it was reliable. And you know, that was 25 years ago, and they're still being sold. We sold the rights, so somebody else is selling them, but it lasted all this time. So that was our first uh-oh.
But lots of learning, lots, right?
Lots of soul searching and learning, because as you and your audience know, when you're a solo, my wife and I partnered on this, but for the most part, she was working full time and I was working in my basement most of the time on this. I felt most of the time being a solopreneur, and that's a very lonely experience because you don't know how to solve things. It was all the time, nights, weekends, just trying to get there. With the success of the new model of this pitch burst game and our experience at the trade shows, we observed that the successful companies in the rental party game industry would bring out a new exciting game just about every year. And I said, I'm a creative person. We can do more of that. So the next one we came out with was also a balloon game, but this was a racing game to be the first to pop an air balloon. We set it up as a dynamite detonator, like in the cartoons. You'll be pressing the thing up and down. Inside was a bike. Inside the red box with the handle was a bike pump, and every time you pressed it down, the hose went out and air went up into the balloon a few feet away on a stand. And when you pumped fast enough, you were the first one to pop the balloon, winning the race. People played this side by side by side, 2 units, 4 units, 10 units. When we launched this, we also made 100. They were out of steel, so we didn't have the worry about durability. But then came another that we didn't anticipate. That was that the pumps, bike pumps, simple bike pumps are designed to fill your tires. So you would pump, 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 your tire is full, you stop. Made for short-term use. When we put this equipment into side-by-side aggressive competition with kids, teenagers, and adults that was played for hours at a time, something happened we didn't know could happen. That is that the pumps clogged. It turns out when you pump aggressively, it of course builds up heat. And the part inside that does the air seal is an O-ring, a rubber circle that goes up and down, up and down, up and down to give you that. When it is overheated for hours at a time, the rubber begins to flake, and then the flakes come out, and then they clog the pump. So once again, we had very excited customers to buy the game because it's a very visual, very fun, exciting thing that didn't take electricity. They don't have to trailer it. It was perfect for a rental business. But if the pumps clog, they can't use them. So we had been through this before with the other games. So we made good. We got extra pumps and sent them out for free. Where we had to, we refunded, but we got very busy researching why does this happen? How do we solve it? Because we were not going to give up on this one. With working with universities on air fluid dynamics and material things, I was no expert. We found experts. We learned that the rubber material is the cheapest one you can use. There's a upgrade synthetic version called Viton that if you use that and put appropriate grease on it between uses, it can withstand the heat most of the time and not clog. So we made repair kits and sent it out to all of by this time, hundreds of customers who had this across America and in Europe and some in Asia, so that was made good. That was our second big we continued, and we still believed now we had a good reputation for innovative games, a good reputation for customer service, even when things went wrong, and we knew that people loved water games. So we researched, this is over the next few years, we would go to water parks and watch for inspiration. How do people play, and how might we translate that to a home game, a backyard game, a rental game? And we observed, and I'm sure wherever you are, there are water parks that have this feature. It's a big pool, and overhead, way overhead, is a gigantic bucket with thousands of gallons, and it slowly fills. You can see it tip, and then finally it tips, and all of the water spills out. It's recycled, so it's not wasting. We said, how might we make that into a game you can play in a backyard for a rental or a party? And we developed a very cool game we called it Downpour Derby. It put 2 players against each other. Each of them had a water pump, and the water from their pump through a hose went up to a bucket over their competitor's head. And the fastest one to pump made the first bucket spill on the other guy. And then they reset it and played it again. We thought this was great, and we went to the big trade show in Orlando and showed a concept page of this. It was an artist rendering. This is how it plays. And we asked people, how would you like to see a game like this? And every single person was very excited. no matter within reason what the cost. So we got back from that and said, oh, great. So we talked to our manufacturer partner and said, can we do a rough version of this? Can it work to have water pumps and hoses and buckets? And within a few weeks, they showed me proof of principle. And I was convinced, yes, it can work. So we then, given our experience with things breaking, we said, make us a working prototype. And it was the winter, so we had to go to a local hotel that had a pool, and we hired 10 kids to play it all day long. And they did. I took pictures. It was fabulous. Nothing broke. We were thrilled. So with that experience and that torture testing, we ordered 100 of these to be made. And at the next trade show, we sold out all 100. All around the world, these were being shipped. Well, it happened again. It took a few months to produce them, and then we shipped them all out in early May, I think it was, late April, early May, right about this time of year. And they put them right to work, especially in the South, in the warm weather locations. And people would call and say, this is fantastic. The kids loved it. It was great. But when they were rented out a second, third, and fourth time, the problems arose again and the calls began, and we had our third gigantic uh-oh moment, because we realized, okay, we didn't understand why these were happening. We had to find out. So we researched, we found out. It turns out we had bought good but not great pumps that were typically used. They were pumps usually used in oil from barrels pumping, and they were designed for thick viscous fluids, not water, and for occasional use, not heavy competition. The end of the story is we wound up replacing them with rotary pumps made of stainless steel, and that solved the problem. There were some other design issues. We ultimately redid the entire design of this with a new manufacturer, and that game got accepted all around the world and is still being played. So pitch burst, boom blaster, downpour derby. At first, then success, then success, then success.
Oh my goodness, but you persisted, it is so amazing because your story is so interesting. I just can't believe it, means I think someone else would have been there. They would have kept. They would have left after first because it's not easy. What the path you walked, it's absolutely not easy. It's a really lot of consistence, persistence, keeping on. It's really amazing. Very interesting story.
The word I've heard said when I describe this to others is resilience. I didn't give up. Part of it was,
yeah, of course, yes.
Honestly, we had this more than $100,000 loan, and we didn't have a way to pay it off unless we were selling and not having these problems. Ultimately, we launched a fourth, and we had designed a fifth when something else happened to me. At the time, I was in my late 50s, and when we'd go to trade shows and stand at the booth all day, my knees hurt a lot. It was arthritis. That happens with age. And I went, and an orthopedist recommended I get knee replacement surgery. And I said, okay, fine. I went into my regular doctor to get a pre-surgical checkup, and they found something wrong in my heart. So it quickly led, I needed quadruple bypass heart surgery. So and I know, Sue, your own story is a dramatic one where you had health issues and you made a change and became a different person. At this point, my decision was the opposite. Well, the heart surgery was successful. That was 12 years ago. I'm doing fine. Thank you very much. But I realized during my recuperation, I could not continue with the constant stress and 24/7 and weekends and vacations, trying to do two things: a great full-time job with my corporation, and then trying to resurrect my company again and again. I did believe for a long time we could quit the day job and just be a game operator, a game business operator, but it was not going to happen. So in my recovery after the heart surgery, my wife and I agreed we need to sell. We need to get out of this in a way that doesn't strap us with lasting debt and all of those problems. I'm happy to say we found a wonderful partner in 2013 who bought Pittsburgh's Downpour Derby and Boom Blaster, the patents, the trademarks, and all of the marketing materials, and they continue to sell that now. That was 12 years ago, and it's a big success for them. In fact, I learned a lesson from them. On this Downpour Derby bucket spilling game, my new partners called Water Wars, they were great at engineering where I sucked at engineering. And the first thing the owner did was to redesign Downpour Derby for their market. I was somebody pursuing the market of backyard rentals and rental stores. They have an existing business with their Water Wars game in water parks, camps, and theme parks. And they designed my game so it could be played in one of those camps and campgrounds. And I went to their location in Minnesota while this was being developed. And I observed, oh, that's the new Downpour Derby. I like it a lot. Are you going to sell them soon? And their answer to me was one I wish I heard a long time before that. They said, nope, those are our working prototypes. We're going to put them in use all summer with some of our best customers for free. And we're going to ask them to kick the snot out of it. And at the end of the season, we'll come back and find out what the problems were, resolve them during the early winter, and then go to production and sell the better version. They did
Great
that
idea,
in 2014, and they're still selling many of those games. So I'm happy for them. But I loved learning about kick the snot out of it because that would have helped me a lot with all three games I went through the struggles. So while I was doing all of this entrepreneur work for my company, which was called WhirlWhims LLC, with my wife and my family, I was also a full-time worker for a major multinational company. And my job was to help spark innovation and new consumer health products. So my job was going around the world, leading workshops, using tools from techniques called design thinking and creative problem solving to generate ideas to solve problems. When I sat down to write this book, it was first going to be a memoir about me and my experience. But then the more I got into it, and I wanted to write something of value to people like me, I realized I have to build in how do you not make those mistakes. So I applied the learnings from the corporate world into do-it-yourself exercises and tools that solopreneurs and entrepreneurs can use to avoid those mistakes. I'll hold my book up for people who watch this online. It's called There's a broken egg on the bottom, and it's about avoid unintentional blunders that derail entrepreneurial success. And the tool set in there is really in 4 parts. It's tools you can use to analyze yourself, and I'll talk about one of those. There's tools you can use to analyze your business and your business plan. There's tools you can use to much better understand and empathize with your customers to avoid mistakes. And then, of course, who said it? A famous person said, it's good to learn from mistakes, but it's better to learn from others' mistakes. So the 4th tool set is about...
Oh, I say that always.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was famous, but I always say that it is really good to learn from your mistakes,
Yes.
but it is better to learn from
Yes,
somebody
I
else's
think,
mistakes.
I think
didn't
it
know I
was
was
Warren
famous.
Buffett as well as you, Sue, who say that.
Okay.
And I've got...
Okay. Oh, I'm really happy that
Yeah.
I can, go with
So
Warren Buffett. That's good.
the book's tools are do-it-yourself tools you can do at your kitchen table, or if you're a small company, at your shop or whatever, by yourself or with somebody else. I'll talk you through the one about yourself. The first one, tool number 1, in the section called Tools About Yourself, helps you discover your own blunder-making tendencies. And by the way, before we leave, I will give you the web address where your audience can download that for free. The tool is called Look in the Mirror, and I'll describe how it works. There are a lot of triggers for making stupid, dumb mistakes. They include being stressed, being too tired, being distracted, being misled by faulty assumptions, and a range of other things. The tool asks you to go to a quiet place with a piece of paper and a pen by yourself and sit down and be honest with yourself and think out loud and then write them down. What were the stupid mistakes you made in the past 12 months? Everybody makes, my learning says that 95% of entrepreneurs make at least one, and about a third make 5 or more. So most people can, if they're honest with themselves, and they don't have to share it with anybody, what were those dumb mistakes you made? Then you list on the right side of the page, what are the many triggers? My book lists the 12 of them. I mentioned a few of them. Then you look and draw lines or circles to connect the mistakes you've made with the cause of that one. You go to the next one. What mistake was it? And the cause, and so forth. By doing this, you get to see patterns. And I myself got to find out I was most prone to making mistakes when I was stressed and exhausted. So the action I can take is, you'll always be stressed and exhausted as an entrepreneur. The action I can take is to set up checklists, ask a buddy to remind me, put things in place so at a decision point, you've got somebody backing you up, or you have a guidance so you don't make a dumb mistake for a second time. So that's Look in the Mirror. Online, if you go to my website, it's my name. It's William Holsten, HOLSTEN.com. The landing page has 2 things on it. One is the book, and the other is a free tool, downloadable PDF with what I just described, and it has the name, Why the F Did I Do That? It's a 10-minute self-assessment. It is, honestly, it's tool number 1 from the 10 tools in the book, but it's free to try, and I invite everybody to give it a try.
No, the self-assessment is really good, because once you are aware, I think 50% of problem is solved in any case. So that is really great. And I actually have many more questions. So I actually, first of all, I didn't get a chance to tell that, okay, I'm the lady who does presentations on treadmill. And today is my first podcasting episode where I'm interviewing someone on treadmill, and that is going to be actually my signature now on. I'm also wearing a weighted jacket. So I just want to show that solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, small business owners, you can build your business and you can have health at the same time. You don't have to build your business at the cost of your health. You need to live fulfilled life. So that is my message. So I till now, even at the summit, I have spoken on treadmill. Only one summit told me not to do on treadmill because they thought it is not professional, because the video will stay forever on YouTube. But I'm here really not to be professional. I'm here to be personable, and I'm here to set example. So I just wanted to give that all disclaimer at the beginning, but I forgot because I was just really excited about his offers and his topics and all. And I have 2 questions. First, have you done e-course out of this book? Because I really feel I work with solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, and their first 2 years are just actually making mistakes and going through that and learn and keep on moving. And I think real money and real revenue or real business starts happening in their third year. So if you have a e-course, and if they can figure out what their tendencies are, and if they take your e-course, and they can actually really save 2 years of all the blunders. So do you have e-course
Thank you for
for
asking.
this?
Not yet is my answer. I envision.
But I think you should
Yeah.
do it. You should do it because I will become your affiliate and I
Okay.
will promote it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Let me, did you have another question?
Yeah, I have another question, but yeah, let's tackle this first.
No,
Yeah.
the 10 tools fit into the 4 buckets of tools, And yes, they're ideal for an e-course. I just have not developed it yet. The book launched only last month, and I'm trying to tell this story first. I'm pleased that there's probably interest, and I certainly will come back to you and your audience when it's kind of ready. I'd like to talk about at least one other tool while we have time, and that is one which has you look at the external world for inspiration on how not to make mistakes. In the book, a full chapter is on my own mistakes, the game problems I had. They're fully, I'm as honest I can. I hope people don't think I was stupid, but I made mistakes like that and learned from them to be able to share this now. Another one is called, I use the word uh-oh-ology. It's a science. It's really a pseudoscience. It's really my way of saying you can learn from others' big mistakes. And the most dramatic one is written about in the book. There was a parachute instructor in Pennsylvania who was asked to film another pair, a teacher and a student, jumping from the plane. So they had a beautiful movie of their jump. So he's done this many, many, many times. So he got a new camera, and this was before GoPros and smartphones could do this easily. He had a full real camera, and they went up. They were over Pennsylvania at 10,000 feet. They gave each other the thumbs up. Let's go. He jumped out. He turned on the camera, facing up to them. They jumped out. They pulled their ripcords and their parachutes open. He got a beautiful shot of that. Then this guy, his name is Ivan McGuire, he reached for his own ripcord, and only at that moment he realized he had forgotten it. The camera was strapped on him, and so he probably just got distracted and did not do it. Ivan fell to his death, and the camera caught all of that disaster. So very dramatic, tragic. Not many entrepreneurs right now are skydivers, but there are lessons you can be learned. And in my uh-oh-ology lesson, when I have a course, but certainly it's in the book, the instructions are to observe and understand what happened, what led to it, and why, and then to think and apply to your own business. A lesson here is to think what in your business, if you ever forgot it, could be disastrous. If you forgot it even once, could be disastrous. I think of a retailer who forgets to lock up his door when he's leaving at night. I gave some thought. It could be a solopreneur who just, you said this, Sue, neglects themselves and they burn out, and then they can't continue in the business because they're not healthy enough. Things like that. Translating what you see, what everybody sees these things all the time, but once you're sensitized to it, you can make it a lesson-giving experience for you and your team.
Yeah, that is amazing. That is,
if I've got time, I'll talk about one more, and it's one to learn lessons, learn valuable lessons from your customers. And this is a tool we use in corporate a lot. It was about mapping your customer's experience. Many times I myself would think up an idea, or I'd find a product I wanted to sell without doing the research, without understanding the marketplace and the dynamics. And you can look at data and say, there were 87 million widgets sold, I'm going to sell a widget. And you can dive into your customer's experience. And what the book goes into in this tool called Map Your Customer's Experience is actually choosing, if you've got an existing business, 5 or 10 of your own customers. You can do, if you're a digital company, an e-commerce company, you can do a Zoom call, or if you're a physical company, you can go and meet them, at least the people in your area. And you ask questions to help them describe how they choose your product, how they use your product, and what they do when they're done with it. That allows you to create a visual map, a very simple stick figure visual map of step A, step B, step B. And by looking at their entire experience, which is representative, it's not complete, you can imagine, if I'm selling this, it needs to deliver that at that point. You might get a better product design or decide to choose something else to sell online. So the mapping of that is very important. And then once you've got that mapped out, you might, before launching a new business or a new venture or a new campaign, test and learn. Instead of going big and scaling up right away, you might try it in bite-sized pieces and test at a very small scale how do customers interact with this part or this package or this message before you scale up, and learn by failing early and in a very small scale how to do it big later.
That is really amazing, because I have a course and in the launch course, which I'm actually launching new, and there I mentioned that okay, validate your offer before you bring it to the world, or monetize before you make it. So all those things actually cover these points. And because especially in digital world, I saw solopreneurs spending like years in creating a product, and when they launched the product, they found out that really there was no demand. So it is always better to find out well in advance, and or you can launch even while doing live, so that we are getting customer feedback, and customer feedback is amazing. My whole business shaped on customer feedback. I never wanted to start podcasting, because I have a heavy accent. I was really happy blogging, but hey, people wanted podcasting channel. I started within one day because people wanted. I do it. So really, really great tips. So now you're talking about mistakes. I wanted to ask you. See, I have been a solopreneur almost whole of my life, but recently I cannot call myself as a solopreneur because now I have a team. I am entrepreneur or small business owner. Now for my team, I have some rules. I say, okay, the mistakes are allowed, perfectly allowed. You can make mistakes, and I have created workflow so that they can follow the workflow, they can follow the checklist, so that nothing is missed, and they have to make sure that they follow every step. And I'm trying to make it easy, as much easy as possible, because I want to delegate most of my task. I really want to X
Mhm.
myself out of my business. But I see I have really great people in my team, but I see some people, especially the really young one, they are of like my kids' age, and they repeat the same mistake again and again. And I say it's okay to do this one mistake once, but it's not okay to repeat the same mistake again and again. Means you should learn from that mistake, and you should implement and then move on. Yeah. So it's not allowed to repeat the same mistake again and again. And I see, means they are good human being, they are good at heart, so I cannot fire them. So do you have any suggestion for that? Because I have been telling, I have been communicating, and I treat them like my kids because they are of my kids' ages. And so, can you tell me what can I do in such
In
cases?
the book, I write about what, because you're right, mistakes happen anyway. Despite all the best precautions, sometimes they're going to happen. And I write about you have, when something like that happens, and it's an embarrassing mistake, it's an expensive mistake, or hopefully no tragedies happen. You have 5 choices every time. One is to accept and move on, and that would include learning from it. 2 is to try to fix whatever the mistake was. 3 is to pivot. You realize you're going down an unproductive path and use the same resources to do something else. 4th is to quit. And surprisingly, quitting is a good idea sometimes, because if the future value, if the projected value of continuing on this course, if nothing else changes, is lower than if you pivoted or went someplace else, it's a smart choice. And one book is called The Word Quit. It talks about getting a quitting coach who will be your sounding board and advisor. And the experience they went through was no entrepreneur will give up on their idea. They say, no, I am correct, you are wrong. So this coach would say, okay, let's think objectively. In 2 months, what would a step towards success look like for you? And then you meet again in 2 months and look objectively, did you achieve that or not? And if not, you'll be advised quitting is a good idea here. So that opened my eyes, because in going back on my game business, maybe I might have quit and used my resources for something else, but I didn't. The fifth option of that you can always face is to ignore. And it sounds like unless you accept and move on and learn, people are ignoring them, and that is never recommended.
So what is next? What is next for you? What is your next project? What is your next goal? And of course, you told me yeah, you are planning to do e-course. So anything else? What
Yeah,
can we look forward to?
with my passion, now that I've written the book and I've begun to talk about it, I'm inspired by the response I've seen from people that it actually helps. So I'd like to enhance that. In my life, I retired from the big company. I no longer own the game company, so I'm free to do things to give back. In my own life, I've become a small business mentor with an American organization called SCORE. So each week I'm seeing and mentoring one small business or one startup. So I get to talk about these guidelines in context of doing business plans and working on marketing and things like that. For me personally, with this, I have lots of passion about spreading the word, how not to make mistakes. I've discovered that most people don't consider minor mistakes or unintentional mistakes to be a big problem. Big strategic ones are. Executional mistakes sometimes happen, but the other ones are kind of never really discussed. I hope to broaden that discussion, not only by selling the book, by being on podcasts like this and giving away the freebie of the first tool and selling the book. I do want to be a public speaker at conferences on this topic. I do envision courses, whether they're in-person courses or e-courses or both. I think there'd be high value there. And
Oh yeah, because I haven't come across with anyone who is
yeah,
offering what you are offering. So there will be
and
great value.
possibly
Yeah.
for selected clients, if people wanted to hire me to consult for a day or two, I'm happy to open up to that. Those are so
VIP
I'm at
day.
the very beginning of this particular journey, and I'm very excited about it.
Oh, that is really great, amazing. And if someone wants to look for you, of course, you mentioned your website, but what other channels where they can look for you? And another thing, who are the people? Means who are your ideal customer profile to whom you can help, and they can, yeah, take your services and move
My
on.
the target of my book and the target of my message are entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and small businesses. Um, Typically at the beginning of their venture, but these principles apply at any place along the venture. Um, there's no age range. Most, as I've seen, most entrepreneurs are in their second or third career, unless they're right out of college and starting out. But I've seen entrepreneurs at my age, so it scans everybody. Anywhere in the world is fine. If you want to reach me, easiest is through my website. There's a contact page there. It's my name, William Holsten, HOLSTEN.com. And in the contact, you can contact me. You can also find the book if you're outside the United States on Amazon. Look it up by my name or the words "uh-oh" and you'll find it.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So I asked whatever I wanted to ask, but in case I missed out on something, and if you want to add, feel free to do so now.
Um, my message to solopreneurs and entrepreneurs is to always have passion for what you do. If you're doing it just to make money, do something else because life is too short to do something you don't enjoy. If you have some good customers with your business today, find out what makes them good and multiply that times 10. Always be looking for the next big thing in your field.
Okay, I can relate to you so much because that is what my sales page initially said that, hey, building business can be fun, and some people objected it, but most people liked it, and that is my perspective. Because if I'm going to spend more than one third of my life doing business, then I better love it, I better enjoy it, and I better have fun with it. So that's a really great tip. And that itself can avoid burnout. And hey, and if you are enjoying, if you are not under stress, you tend to do less mistakes. So everything is actually interconnected. So it was so great. Thanks.
Just
Okay,
one
you
more
want to say
thing,
something?
take care of yourself. I know, Sue, you know what it's
Yep.
like when you're working 24/7. At some point, you have to build in time just to recharge. Stephen Covey said it in his book so often, sharpen the knife, allow time to replenish. And that's the easiest thing to forget. And it leads to so much bad if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah, because many solopreneurs they quit 40 hours of job, start their own business, end up
Yeah.
working 80 hours. And my article which went viral on LinkedIn was the article that my kitten Kiwi taught me work life balance, because my kitten, if I stay in my home office beyond certain time, means like when it is dark, like 9 or 10 p.m. and all, will come and keep on meowing until I leave my office. Doesn't let me work on weekends. But now I told him that Saturday mornings are fine, so he's okay with Saturday morning. And but Saturday afternoon, Sunday, he doesn't let me work. So hey, my cat taught me.
Can I
So
add one more story? You reminded me.
someone,
in
sure.
in the
Yeah.
hardest days of my game business, I would be come home from my day job at 5 or 6 p.m. We'd have family dinner, and then I'd go down to my basement. On my basement, I had my messy desk at the far end, and my son, a teenager at the time, had or he's about 10 years old, had his his TV and games set up. So he'd be playing by himself while I was working on these things until late at night. One day he came down to me and he said, "Dad, when you die, do I have to do all this game business stuff?" That brought it home for me that I really have to pay attention to the important things in life, family and health, over any business.
I know. Yeah, yeah. That's so great, because I remember one of my doctor friends, and both husband and wife doctor, and her son was not studying, and then they were teaching him, you should study so that you will have a good life, you will have better life. And then he looked at them and he said, I don't want your life. You're working 24/7. I don't want your life. So, yeah, I mean, sometimes, yeah, you learn from your
Absolutely.
kids. Yeah, my kids taught me a lot. That is another, I think, podcasting topic, what I learned from my kids. And whatever I am right now, it is actually just input from my kids. And yeah, that's really amazing. So, just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming on our show. Thank you for blessing our community. Our community is our family, and we don't take our guests lightly. Means we make sure that our guests get visibility, and we personally implement whatever we learn on our show. So I want to tell audience, means this is really a great way to find out about your mistakes, your patterns, so that you will be more productive and you will have a shortcut for success. Because to err is human. As far as we are alive, we are not going to be perfect. My mentor says the moment you become perfect, God will call you. So you are not going to achieve perfectness as far as you are alive. But hey, if you can reduce your mistakes, and if you can, yeah, get to your successful life earlier, why not? Because the life is so short, it is running so fast. So really appreciate you coming and giving nuggets. I personally, I'm going to go for that assessment, and I cannot wait to get that book, and I'm looking forward to your e-course. Okay, so yeah, hopefully hope to see you sometime in person. And if you teach in person, yeah, I will be your
Thank you,
first
Sue.
student.
Thank you, Sue.
Okay,
And I'm
thank you for coming.
inspired by your
Really appreciate.
treadmill talk. Uh,
Yeah, because that is right now. Me, I go live actually on social media almost every day, every weekday. I go live, and people say, "Oh, that's the lady who is on treadmill." So I
yeah,
say, "Oh, I like that. I like that reputation, and I will keep on doing that." By the way, this treadmill is also a gift from my daughter. So, and standing desk actually, her boyfriend fixed it for me. So yeah, so it's really amazing. It's all Everything is a blessing. Thank you. Really appreciate you coming and blessing our
and
family.
to you too. Thank
Really
you very much,
appreciate.
Sue. Bye bye now.
Yeah, and let's stay in
Okay.
touch and collaborate.
Success stories from busy professionals just like you. Finding a community of other professionals. Building digital products on the side. Completely changed my journey. Instead of feeling alone and overwhelmed, I now have people who understand exactly what I'm going through and celebrate every small win with me. Michael R., financial analyst and digital product creator.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are blessed to have you as part of our community, and whatever way we can help you, serve you, let us know. Please subscribe and let us know how we can help you, what resources you want. We have lots of free resources and also free collaboration joint venture groups you can join and explode your business, because most solopreneurs quit their business before they launch their first products, and I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why we have special launch service where you can monetize your digitals and become profitable as fast as within 7 days. And if you want to scale your business, join our membership New Beginning Success Collaboration, where we'll provide you MRR and PLR products and collaborations so that you can scale your business with ease and effortlessly. And hey, if you want to sell your digitals all over the world, yes, we will provide you affiliates more than 200 countries. So everything is possible. Just live your dream, follow your dream, and whichever way we can help you, do let us know. Thank you and God bless you.